Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to TLR, the Ludicrous Report. What a day we have today. So many fun topics to talk about. So many, not necessarily fun topics, but topics that I think need to be discussed. As
Yes.
always, I am Joey Karni, host of the Angle Podcast outside of TLR. And with me, the best duo that there is, Roman and Issa. Say something,
Hi.
Roman. Roman is
Hi.
with us today.
Yeah, he's being a little brat.
He's an influencer now. It's okay. It's he's gaining some confidence. He's growing his ego. There
Look
he
at
is.
him. Look at
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
I
He's
think
like,
I
we're live.
think I think he's grumpy because of the heat wave going on here in Puerto Rico right now. These are temperatures, Joey, that I've never experienced, and I grew up here.
Really?
Yeah,
And you said
it's
it was
horrible.
dangerous.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it says, well, my favorite thing is like we got a weather alert, and it says, threat moderate. And then on the bottom it says a possible threaten to life, and I'm like,
What?
how is that moderate? How is it then what's
Yeah.
severe? We go to hell or we become hell because it's that hot? Like, I couldn't understand how that is moderate, but the
Wow.
threat level is life threatening. I'm like, I think I have a theory that it's because it's so hot out, that if the hot kills, like if the sun kills you, it's because you were way too stupid to be out there for that long.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no I took Roman for a walk, and I think like these are like 5-10 minutes walks tops, and I have to watch like where we walk because the pavement sometimes is too hot. Like,
Yep.
it's really bad here right now.
That's what I was gonna bring up. That would be my main concern is, and that's a thing that a lot of people don't realize too, especially like here in New York, where people are walking their dogs constantly, 24 hours a day. When we have heat like this, or not just heat like this, but when it's hot in general, you have to be careful with the pavement and their dog's paws because they could get burned, and
Yeah.
it really does hurt them. So
The way that I see it is like, if I was to go to the beach right now and take off my slides and walk to the water, I'm gonna
yeah,
burn the bottom of my feet. So
absolutely.
why wouldn't my dog, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why people don't automatically think it's common sense. Yeah, I guess that animals are meant for outdoors, but so are we, technically speaking. And doesn't
Yeah.
mean that when the like you're not gonna walk barefoot on the cold on the ice or on whatever this is. So I always think about that. So I carry him and I take him somewhere where there's grass and shade that I know he's not gonna get burned, and that's when I put him down. You know how it is. Like, he's my baby. Come on, I'm not gonna let him get burned
No, Roman, protect Roman at all costs.
at
That's
all
the
costs.
yes. Either one. He's the tribal chief. That's it.
I did love that you put in the chat, for everybody joining us. Joey put in the chat, what is your favorite dog breed? That is the question of the day. Everybody knows mine. I'm a sucker for Yorkies. I love them. They have an attitude. And Roman is not my first Yorkie. It's just always been my favorite kind of dog.
Yeah, and the reason why I put that question in the chat is because today we'll be talking about a really controversial topic. I would assume that goes on with dogs, but it's a topic that I think a lot of people don't talk about enough as they should. Just
Oh, I
because,
can't wait to get into the drama and the way
yeah,
that he reacted. But it is such a fun debate, and I don't know if you caught my tweet, but
I did.
I got Roman at the exact same place where he got his dog, and that has always been a point of. I received a lot of criticism because of it, so I can't wait to get into that one.
Yeah. We'll be saving that one for a little bit later in the show. But there are some other topics that we have for today. If you were a fan of in the 2000s era of MTV, you know who Bam Margera is. Bam Margera, part of the
He's been
Jackass
going through it
crew.
for a while.
Yeah, he had his own show for a little while with his family,
I
and I used to love that show.
Me too. I don't think, are we getting into that topic first or no? Or are you running down the topics?
Oh, I was just gonna run down topics, but we can jump into that first. Why not? Let's talk about it.
Because I was gonna say, I don't think that Bam has been the same person since the accident in which he lost. Remember his friend Ryan? Was his name
Yep.
Ryan, the other jackass guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that Bam ever recover from that. And that's not a theory. You could just tell his demeanor, every public appearance that I seen him do, shows, videos, whatever,
Yeah.
he never carry himself the same way after that.
Here's the thing with Bam. I think he's always had substance abuse issues.
Yeah.
Um,
Has it like 90% of the Jackass cast have
yeah,
substance
yeah, they have.
issues? They really have.
Yeah. And I think like even and not to bring up, not to compare it at all to wrestling, but in a sense you can because these guys grew up a certain way, being violent, being out there, being
Putting your body through
dramatic.
things that no normal human puts their bodies through.
Exactly. And there comes a time in everybody's life, regardless of your profession or regardless of anything, that, it's kind of like it's time to ride off into the sunset. And, a lot of them have kind of pulled back a lot from that lifestyle. They are still in it somewhat, but I think Bam Margera had a problem with that, you know, like wrestlers like Ric Flair were not able to pull themselves out of that lifestyle.
And on top of that, and I don't know how many people are like fully familiar with Bam's like entire life story, but before Jackass, Bam was one of the very first people to go viral for skateboarding videos. He's been
Yeah.
doing stunt and putting his body through crazy injuries and crazy stupidity way before Jackass. That's how Jackass found him, because of
Yeah.
all these viral videos he used to create around skateboarding.
Yep.
So it's like this guy has been putting his body through ridiculous stuff since he was probably like what 10, 11. I
Yeah.
assume, because he's I don't know how old he is, but I'm assuming he's young. Now I gotta look up his age. Let me
Well,
see.
the reason that he's in the headlines today is because he was put on a 5150 psychiatric hold. Uh, he's been going through it for quite some time. I know that there was a point.
43. He's 43, by the
43.
way.
There was a time not even that long ago, maybe a few months ago, where like he was missing and they couldn't find him. And then he would post all this weird stuff about Johnny Knoxville, basically destroying all of his relationships. It's really, really sad to see,
Yeah.
that his friends have tried to do what they can for him.
Well,
but
yeah,
it
the
hasn't
reason why
gone
he
for him.
wasn't, allegedly, the reason why he wasn't in that last Jackass is because they asked him to get clean for it and all that, and
Yeah.
he couldn't. He was supposed to be a part of it. Now, I don't know if our viewers watching us right now, please leave a thumbs up if you are and chime in the chat. But a 5150 is very, very hard to get. This is when the mental specialists decide they want to take you because you're not all there. There's no calling like it's involuntary. There's nothing you can do or say, or there's nothing anybody can do or say to keep them from taking you. And I've
Yeah.
only seen that. It's very rare. I think Amanda Bynes, we kind of talked about her
Yeah.
with the original Britney breakdown. They put in a 5150. Kanye has been putting a 5150, but it's only a handful of celebrities that you heard of. Like, there's no intervention. This is them saying you are not well enough, we're gonna take you. And that to me like has to speak wonders to what level of mental health they find him, because I've heard of cases and people calling for to get someone put in a 5150 and they
Yeah.
won't approve it because they don't feel like that person is that dangerous, or to themselves or to society, right? I don't know how to
Yeah.
properly word this. I'm not a therapist. So when they approve one, you know that this person is just not doing well.
Yeah, they said that he's had erratic speech and behavior, suicidal threats that he's made. It's really sad to see, someone like this who really has been a part of our culture for a very long time. I mean, I remember watching him as a kid and just being a fan of the Jackass stuff, and mainly coming from the skateboarding stuff. Let me ask you that.
I love his show with his where he would do the pranks on his parents, especially
Yeah.
his dad. That show was so funny.
Were you a fan of, because I know growing up, we grew up a big group of guys and girls, actually. We had a combined diverse group. We loved to skateboard. We were always doing like something like athletic outside, whether it was skateboarding, and then we had a phase where we were all rollerblading, and then we were all biking and doing all this crazy stuff, and not really emulating what we saw from Jackass, but kind of to the same effect, if that makes sense, like doing stuff off ramps and different things like that. And I remember Bam Margera being like one of the people we looked up to. It's just how do you, when you think of Bam Margera, what do you think of him and his career?
The first thing that always comes to my mind is the parent stuff. Like him and his dad
Yeah.
used to have just the funniest freaking chemistry, but you could tell they love each other. But man, they messed with each other a lot, right? His mom was funny too. I think of the Solo Show. I think of Jackass. I was a little bit older when this like kind of took off. Like if I
Yeah.
was your age, I would have probably been trying to replicate it, but it didn't make me any less than a fan. I watched all of it. I think Jackass kind of like wore off for me after a few years.
Yeah.
Once you get old enough to realize all of the issues that these guys are having.
Yeah.
I think I watched all the way up to like the grandpa one that they made. Remember that
Yeah.
one? And then after that, I haven't seen like the latest one yet, but I heard that it's actually good. I just haven't like taken the time to see it. But that is automatically what I think about. But I also associate him with so many issues, like
Yeah.
and I see Steve-O right now seems to be doing good for himself. You know, Johnny Knoxville. I mean, we just saw him wrestle at WrestleMania, and I'm glad that some of them got clean. But I really do think that that accident in which he lost his friend affected Bam in a way that he might never being able to like fully move on from it.
Yeah, and the article does say as well, he is in the middle of a divorce from
Hmm.
his wife Nikki, and she's not allowing him to see their baby. So there's a lot of things going on there that
If he got put in a 5150, his mental health has to be. I mean, that puts the mom in such a weird position, right? We had this conversation when we were talking about Kanye and other things. It's like I wouldn't want my kid to see their dad in that kind of state, especially when
yeah.
you don't know how they're gonna act or what they're going to do. This is literally 5150 is a danger to yourself or to society. So I can't say that I'm blame her for this. I just hope that he gets the help that he needs.
Let me ask you this, not to really go deep into it, because I know a lot of times we like to get deep into these conversations.
Yeah.
We are a pop culture show, but I think that it's really important to talk about. A big part of pop culture is our society, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. You
Hmm.
said that you kind of left that, you stopped kind of liking that version of entertainment where they were like putting their bodies, and it just got played out in a sense when you realize what they go through. Do you
Hmm.
think it was more of uh not really enjoying that type of content, entertainment anymore, or more was it like going into a more PG style society where those type of things kind of were shadow banned from society, and it was more PG and respectful and very, very, I don't know what the word is, but I think that society with in the late 2000s to now, like we saw it with wrestling, like it became PG. There was a PG era.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I I don't know because like when I saw them do what they did at WrestleMania, that was one of my favorite matches of that weekend, and
yeah,
I enjoyed it and the nostalgia, and it took me back. I don't know that I personally went into a more of a PG mentality like society possibly did. I'm not that. I'm not like that. I mean, even when it comes to wrestling, I don't mind blood.
yeah,
I like hardcore. Like some of my favorite
exactly.
matches are the no DQ
You're
style where they
old
go
school.
crazy. Right, I am very old school,
Yeah,
but I will say that it's not a content that I would enjoy on a daily basis. Like when Jackass was big, we were getting a daily show, and it's just not
yeah,
something that I can see myself sitting down and enjoying on a daily basis. But like, I see a movie, I'll stop, I can talk to you about it when we're talking
yeah,
because like I enjoyed it. But I don't think it was more of a I never went into that PG like mentality. It's just not my style. Like
yeah.
some of my favorite movies, like one of my favorite movies, if not my top, is Fight Club. Like this, I like this. I like violence. I wake up in the morning, Joey, and I choose violence. So
Clip it, clip it.
so I don't think that's what it was. I think it was more of they were also getting older, and you're like, says me, I'd be acting a fool at whatever age, right? But
Act the
you see them
fool.
and you see them and you go like, man, when are you gonna stop doing that? You're
Yeah,
a grown man now, even though that I still be jumping off of planes and like I get
yeah,
into all the crazy freaking roller coasters. I do say I never did the skating thing, but I do think there are a little bit of an influence in
yeah,
my love for adrenaline. Like I love doing crazy things, bungee jumping, like skydiving. Like I love doing that kind of stuff, and nobody in my family outside of maybe my nephews who are trained military, so they're forced to do some kind of things, not because they want to, are as like adrenaline chasing like I am. So sometimes I wonder, was this stupid jackass shows that I watched when I was little mixed with wrestling what makes me, every time that there's an idea, when we hang out, you'll see it. If there's an idea that everybody will go, hell no, I'm like, I'm in. And I blame jackass for that behavior.
Do you remember? I don't know. I don't really know the audience here we have in the chat what the age demographic is, but I remember a time when there was video games like Extreme Backyard Wrestling. You remember that?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like jumping off houses and stuff. There was an era in time where like violence.
Yeah, but
And
nothing like
mayhem.
Grand Theft Auto. When Grand Theft
Oh,
Auto
Grand
was
Theft
at its
Auto.
peak, that is the greatest freaking video game of all time. I don't care what anybody wants to say.
Let me tell you, fun fact: when I can't sleep at night, I turn on my Xbox and I play.
And you play GTA? Do you have a favorite one?
Vice City.
Oh, Vice City is so good.
Vice City.
Yeah, Vice City is
San
good.
Andreas.
I like Grand Theft Auto 4. San Andreas is good too. I like the 4. I'm like OG, you know, but yeah, Vice City is fun. San Andreas as well. Man, I remember trying to find the cheat codes, but not to like beat the game. It was to like have maximum, like all the stars, the tank, all the guns.
Oh, I like getting all the money and getting all the cars and the parachute and the planes.
Oh my god!
And, oh man,
I love running people. I never forget the first time that I played that in front of my dad, and my dad could just not believe it. I'm like, let me pull over and pick up this hooker real quick, and my dad is like, "What?"
When we
Man,
do our
I'm giving all the shorts today. You got all the clips thanks to my quotes.
when we do our nostalgia show, we will definitely be talking about Grand Theft Auto, and to make it as professional sounding as possible, Grand Theft Auto and its effect on our society. Because guess what? There's a new one coming out next year that I'm very excited for. The most expensive video game I think that was created. But I do want to make a reference to a comment I saw in the chat. We did talk about wanting to pick, you and I, Issa, starting to pick our favorite comment from the chat.
Yeah.
And kind of giving people, that recognition. And I think I already found the one that I'm already going to I'm going to pick for today's show. We're only a little while into it. Lego Brick Collector said, nothing's better than a fresh cup of violence in the morning.
Hey, Lego's one of my besties from my channel. Shout out to Lego. That made me laugh too when I read it.
So far, that's my favorite comment in the chat. We still have the rest of the show to go. There's so much.
We still have a lot to go, but I just hope that Bam gets the help that he needs and is able to get better. We encountered this situation. We always bring it back to wrestling, but he's been helped in the past and goes right back to it. And we talked about it, for example, when we're talking wrestling, like it's a very similar Jeff Hardy situation where it's like they get help, they get clean, they come back, they make a big comeback, we're all behind them, and then they do it again. So, but I just hope he gets the help that he needs, just for the sake of his little boy and in being able to be the dad that his little boy needs.
Yeah, I think that in due time, I think that hopefully, like you said, with the support, I think that it will come around. Hopefully, praying for Bam Margera and his family, but in this case,
I will say with a 5150, they're not gonna release him until they feel he's okay, and that's important. At least he's somewhere safe, getting help, and they're not gonna let him go until they feel he's okay.
Yeah. But some more topics that we have for today. Adele is in the headlines. You sent this one to me, and
I know that I sent that to you, and I already forgot what it was. I'm like in my brain right now, like, what was this one?
So Adele apparently she gutted the entire mansion she purchased. That was apparently Sylvester Stallone's house.
Yeah.
But she kept one thing in there, and those in the chat, I'll give you about 10 seconds while I'm talking to guess what she kept in there. Anything.
Keep in mind, Adele, the singer, buys Sylvester Stallone homes, tears it down, but she's remodeling, leaves one thing up. I would love to see if anybody can guess it because I laugh when I saw that because it's
Yeah.
such. I would do that. I would so do that.
Oh, I would too. No, there's no way that I would get rid of that. Yeah, I don't think anybody got it, but
No, I'm not seeing any guesses.
no.
So
She saved the Rocky statue that he had in there. First off, this guy's got a statue of himself in his home.
if you have
Granted,
ridiculous money, Joey, would you not?
I probably would never have. I don't even have pictures.
Hear
of me
me
in my
out.
house.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Because I would have a giant statue of Roman made. Would you not have one of your cat?
Maybe.
I got you.
Mike in the chat said the boxing bag. No,
Close enough.
Close enough. Yeah. No, he had a Rocky statue. Granted, there's a Rocky statue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Next year when we
Philly,
go for
Pennsylvania.
WrestleMania, you and I are gonna do the Rocky TikTok. We're gonna run up the steps together.
I love
Joey.
it. I did it in February.
I did it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I did it for when I went for Royal Rumble 2018.
Yeah.
That's when I've been to Philly a lot, but I remember that one specifically because I did the running up the steps. And oh my god! And I did it after I had a freaking Geno's cheesesteak. Halfway through, I thought I was gonna gas out. I'm like, man, my stomach hurts. I don't want to do this.
I live like an hour and a half away from Philly, so if there's an open weekend and we're craving some cheesesteaks.
Wait, but are you a Geno's or a Pat's person?
I'm both.
No, you gotta pick one. That's not how it works.
I eat everything.
No, Joey, you have to. If you can only take one. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, we just became best friends. I'm a Geno's girl too.
There was one time when I went and I had like 6 different.
Oh, did you try Tony Luke's? Is it Tony Luke's?
I did. Obviously, Pat and Geno's.
Of course.
There was a couple of them. I don't remember the names. It was a while back. There was a different places that we went to that were.
It has to be Tony Luke's. I guarantee you because I don't know if I'm saying the name right.
It was like this little place.
Yeah, Tony Luke's. Look, I put in Tony Luke and it literally comes out the best Philly cheesesteak. I tried that place. It was pretty good too. I did the same thing. I went on it was so funny though because I had so many halves sandwiches that I took home that I think I ate cheesesteaks for like a week because you can't if you're gonna do the cheesesteak tour in Philly. I love how we went from Adele to the cheesesteak tour, but this is more important. If you're gonna do the Philly cheesesteak in Philly, you cannot eat a whole one in the first sit down because you will not be able unless you have that kind of appetite. I can't do it. I have to take 2 bites. Let's go to the next place. Wrap it up. Take it home. You know.
You're doing a tasting.
Yeah, it's like you're doing it. It's the most fun. Like anybody visiting Philly, you gotta go do the steps, and then you gotta go and find like the top 5, 6 Philly cheesesteaks places and just try them. It's so much fun. Geno's always packed. The line is always to the outside. Pat's too. I prefer Geno's, but I don't take away from Pat's. I think Pat's is good. It was a little too. I don't know how to. Their bread was more like soggy compared to Geno's, and that's what bothered me. And I'm a plain person. I just get the meat and the whisk.
Me too.
So, I love you.
Sometimes, depending on the place, I'll put like the peppers on there, but other than that, I don't do anything.
I don't do the peppers. So I feel like the bread, and I try giving Pat's multiple tries, and I always feel like the bread feels more muggy than Geno's. The bread still feels like toasty and good, you know. So, anyways, back to Adele. So this woman tears out the entire house, keeps the Rocky statue, and I had to give her respect because I would do the same thing. I will keep it.
Yeah. Fun fact: Rocky is my favorite movie series of all time.
Really? You know, CM Punk has. CM Punk.
I knew there was a reason I didn't like this guy.
There's a lot of Sylvester Stallone that takes me back to me being a little girl watching action movies with my dad. And I remember the Rocky movies. Rambo was my favorite. I thought he was so badass in Rambo. What else? There was a couple of movies that I remember watching with my dad. I think it was Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like those were the legends of me growing up of the movies that my dad will watch. So shout out to him, man. Rocky movies, they age well. You can watch them now and you can still enjoy them.
Yeah. And I believe they're on Peacock or HBO. I'm not sure. I think
it's Peacock.
Yeah. But let me ask you, I think we might have talked about this before. Are you a fan of the Creed series?
I haven't seen the last one. I like them. I like them. But
Yeah,
I think I just like, I don't know. I have an issue with today. And we had this talk on the show
yeah,
before. I have an issue with today's like movie industry where they're just
yeah,
like remaking things or just leashing off nostalgia instead of creating their own series and their own original stuff. So what there are some things that I like. A part of me goes like, come on, like be creative. What's gonna happen in 20 years when you run out of things to remake? Like somebody needs to sit down in a room and create new characters, new stories.
yeah.
So a lot of the things that are like that are leashing off nostalgia, I kind of feel 50-50 about, but I do think they're good movies, the ones that I saw.
So I think the Rocky series has like six Rocky movies,
Hmm.
right? Six or seven, maybe six, I think.
I thought it was 6.
Six. And then Creed has now 3, right? And they're already making the 4th. I watched Creed 3 last week, and I will tell you that Creed 3 was the worst one out of the Creed series and all of the Rocky movies.
So that's what I heard as well. That's what I heard as well, and that's why I watched. I like the first one,
I
and the
love the
second one
first
I thought
one.
was okay. I haven't
I
watched
love the
anything
second
past
one.
that.
The third one just felt forced. It
Well, I
felt
feel
forced.
that. See, I thought the first one was good. The second one was starting to lose me, and that's why I haven't grown the nerve to watch the
Yeah.
third one.
But see, Creed 2 there's a backstory there. Like there's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
backstory that's a callback to the original Rocky series.
Right.
This movie was just like, oh, it's someone from his childhood that like a part of Creed's life that we didn't know about. But the way the
Yeah,
movie
they're
took
turning
place,
into Fast and the Furious movies where they're just bringing up villains that were
yeah,
supposed to be there but they weren't there.
like the guy, like I'm not gonna spoil too much for you, but the guy, his friend got out of jail, and within like a half an hour in the movie, he was like the heavyweight champion of the world living in a penthouse. Like the movie moved way too quickly. The story progressed way too fast for it to be like to gain that emotional connection.
Right.
And it just like it finished, and I was like, I don't even know what just happened. Like it just too fast.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll check it out just so that I can talk shit about it too.
But I mean, we keep passing Adele here, like the queen Adele. But yeah, I definitely would have kept the Rocky statue. Let me ask you this to kind of tie it back into Adele or this topic.
Hmm.
If you were able to purchase any home in the world that belonged to a celebrity, which celebrity's home would you want? And what one thing of theirs would you want to keep in the house?
Oof. You're trying to bring out my nerdy side, aren't you? Because it will 1000% be Steve Jobs, and hopefully he has something on the original Apple computer in there that I will keep in a heartbeat. I was gonna say Bill
Damn,
Gates.
you dug into that one. That was I
Oh,
like that answer.
oh, if my second answer was gonna be Bill Gates, because I guarantee you that has to be the most high tech freaking house in all of the
Yeah,
world. Like, but I mean, I'm a big Apple nerd. So I'm literally sitting here staring at my iMac, my
yeah,
MacBook, my
yeah,
iPad, my like
yeah,
and I love the story. I know that he was controversial in some ways and the way he managed certain things,
yeah.
but I love the story of how they just went from a garage to what they are today, and he was such a big part of it. So I'm a geek, so if I had the opportunity, you damn right I would bet on a Steve Jobs house. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Lego said don't say Roman.
No, no, no. I every once in a while I answer my question seriously. That was a serious
Yeah.
answer right there. He
I like
he
that
he, he
one.
got me. He got me. None of you were expecting that, but I'm a huge Apple nerd. So
Yeah.
that's and I watch all of the Steve Jobs movies and I watch all of the documentaries. Like I even fell down the conspiracy theory. I don't know if you ever saw this one when they saw somebody that looked just like him in Brazil, and
Yeah.
then the whole Steve Jobs is not dead conspiracy was born. What
Because
about you, Joey? Whose house will you buy?
to kind of piggyback of what you just said, it's kind of crazy that there's a lot of things we have in common,
Yeah.
and this is one of them. I've
Ah!
been I've been infatuated with, I don't know what it is. I think since I was like 12 years old. Whenever the first iPhone came out, I think I was younger than 12. I always like kept up with the Apple technology. I was always
I
fascinated to see
I
like what
couldn't get my hands on an iPhone until the two. The two. I was so mad I never got the first one, but I did get a two.
it's so bad, Issa, that I know there was one yesterday or the day before. I watched the keynotes, the Apple keynotes.
Oh, who doesn't?
Yeah, no, I take time out of
Oh,
my day, the
oh, me
three
too.
hour. I watched it the other day. I saw iOS 7 and all the new stuff coming out.
Yeah, me
I
too.
love it's infatuating to me. I don't know what it
Oh,
is.
me
I
too,
love learning about it.
1000%. Which one is your favorite Steve Jobs movies out of all the movies that they make? Because I love the one that Ashton Kutcher made. I
Ashton
thought
Kutcher, I would
Ashton
say.
Kutcher did such a good job. And what I love about that one is that they didn't hide some of the things that he did do wrong or his attitude. Or he
Yeah.
was a perfectionist and he wanted things to be done a certain way. There's a reason why. This Apple is the standard in products,
Mhm.
but I find it fascinating that we share the nerdness when it comes to
Yeah, I'm
Steve
a
Jobs
nerd when it
and
comes to
Apple.
technology.
Me too, me too. And
Yeah.
I used to before I went into selling office space, which is what I was doing, when the pandemic hit. My
Yeah.
job was retail with Verizon Wireless, so I dealt with mobile phones, and we would go to all these trainings with Apple, and like I've always been a big geek. And it's like really funny because when you work in the wireless industry, you have to have
Yeah.
the latest phone. This isn't a you have to have it because of status. No, no, no. You have to have it because you have to. The customers, you have to make it for the customers. So
Yeah.
it's like that stayed in my brain. So if I don't have the latest iPhone, I feel like a loser. Like,
Yeah. That's how I feel too. I feel like my phone's outdated. I'm like, they just
yeah.
announced the new one 10 minutes ago. My phone is outdated. I need a new one.
And then the other day I went to, I told you I upgraded my computer and decided to get
Yeah.
the iMac because I was like, okay, I have my MacBook and I've kept it updated. MacBooks will last you forever. I tell everybody, it's like, yeah, you're gonna pay like 2,500 on a
Yeah.
laptop. It will last you forever. I've had my MacBook forever. But I was like, if I get a new MacBook, I'm gonna get a monitor. So let me go with an iMac because I
Yeah.
haven't had a desktop in so long. And it was so funny because the girl at Best Buy is like, oh, you can leave it here and we can set it up for you. And I'm like, that's the fun of it. I thought you would not take away the geeky part of like putting up the programs and setting up. I'm taking it. Give it to me. Hug the box. Give her my credit card. Ran out of there. Like I'm that kind of person and I am the designated set up my new iPhone person for everybody in my family too.
Now let me ask, because we may become best friends. We might have our own stepbrothers moment here. If you have the same answer.
Okay.
I pretty much have gotten every Apple product. There's one Apple product I never bought, and it's not like I refuse to buy it. I just don't find any interest to purchase it. There's
I'm
only
trying
one. If you
what
can guess,
Apple product I didn't purchase. And for me, no, I had an iPod. You remember when Apple TV wasn't a streaming service? It was like the actual box that you would have
yeah,
to buy. That would be it for me.
really,
Yeah.
I never bought the watch. I never cared for it. I was like, it's too small to read. Like I always have my phone in my hand at all times. It's like I
I
never cared for the watch. And now that I'm getting older, like everyone's like, oh, you should like use it like to like watch like for more like health reasons and different
It's
things
the
like that.
best. Like it's better than any fitness. So I use it for my workouts.
Yeah,
It connects to all my workout machines, so it keeps track of my workouts.
yeah,
But a few years, like a year and a half ago, this is random. Here I go with my deep conversations nobody expects. But I got diagnosed with a heart condition, and my heart beats too fast. And I never thought that's why I have a bunch of I even have don't tell anybody, I even have a Rolex that I got as a bonus. And you always see me wearing this, and the reason why is because it keeps track of my heart rate.
yeah,
So at the gym I'm able to work out, but because of my heart rate condition I had to watch it. And the
yeah,
watch would always tell me, and it gives me an alert when my heart starts going over a certain speed. I had to slow down or stop and let it kind of like chill. So I didn't have a lot of use for the watch
yeah,
up until I got diagnosed with that, and up until I got really into fitness. I've been really into going to the gym all the time again, and this thing tracks everything for me. Like I'm a Apple Rings Nazi. Like I had to close all of my rings or I go crazy. So I love that the watch is keeping track of all my movements and all that. But
yeah,
if it wasn't for my heart or the fitness, I will tell you right now, I will have no use for this. I don't text from it. I don't do anything from it but connect my workout machines to it and check my heart rate. That's all I do on the watch. So I don't blame you for
yeah,
having no interest in it. But when I first got it, it was a gift. And then I was like, I really like it, and I like well, now you can kind of customize it. Like I change my band all the time.
Yeah.
On the beginning, you could only buy the bands from Apple. They were like
Yeah.
$50, and I was like, screw this. Now you can buy them everywhere, so it's fun. But yeah, I do find use, but a lot of people tell me, okay, the things that you're mentioning with a Fitbot or a fitness bracelet, you could get the
Yeah.
things that you're getting from the watch.
Yeah.
So I've never called or done anything from it. I even had the watch that you can put the SIM card into it, so you can. And I'm like, the fuck am I gonna do? Like talking to people like this? Like what is that? No. So I use it for things that I could probably get a different device for.
Yeah. No, I just never, like I said, everything, it was too small to read, and I just didn't have any interest. Like,
But think about it though. How often do people even look at their watches anymore? Now that we have these devices in our hands that tell us everything that we need to know. I don't even wearing a watch. I look at my phone for the time. Wearing a watch. Like I don't think people have a need for watches the way that we used to back in the day.
yeah, when I was 22, I got a job working at Tourneau. I don't know if you know what Tourneau is. A lot of
I do.
people, I don't know if a lot of people still know what Tourneau is, but it's basically a wholesale watch company. They sell different brands of watches. And I was a sales manager there for like a year or two. And I learned so much about watches. I didn't know anything about watches before. And working there, I learned so much, and I found like a deep love for watches, or timepieces, whatever they call them.
Yeah,
But
right. Oh, you went fancy on me.
I knew like all the little terms and all, like, oh, what this is and what it does. I knew all that stuff about any type of watch. And I started wearing watches then. And over the last couple of years, I just kind of I put it down, and I just never went back to it. Like I have a Rolex. I never wear it. And I wear it
Same.
for like occasions, but like I
Same.
don't wear watches anymore.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I will say from a female perspective, it is hot when a man is wearing like a nice Rolex or a nice watch,
Yeah.
because there's like people have this understanding that it's only the Rolex. It's like, no, there's a lot nicer brands out there than Rolex.
Yeah.
But when you're not showing it off, like
Yes.
if I just catch it, like let's say I'm on a date with you and I just like catch it of the glimpse of my eye, so like you're doing this the whole day, so I see it. I find that very sexy. I think that a man that knows like watches and all that, I
Yeah.
think that's like important.
Yeah.
But I hate when guys just do it to show off. It's just
You're
like,
like,
okay, you
so
get it.
what do you want to talk about?
Right.
What do you want to
Okay,
talk about?
okay,
Cody
Cody
Rhodes?
Rose. Hello. Oh, I have an itch. Like, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
You have. I have one
Yeah.
too, bro. I'll never forget the one Christmas. Like, and then we'll move on from the watch topic. But my dad didn't know a lot about, and I was little, right? But my dad didn't know a lot about watches, and he wanted Movado. He was obsessed with a Movado, right? He
Yep.
wanted this Movado, and my mom could not find the Movado that she wanted, so she got him a Gucci watch. Beautiful Gucci watch. Like, I mean, timepiece, okay? This was a timepiece. It wasn't even a watch. Do you know that my dad didn't freaking wear it for like the first year because he thought it was a cheap watch?
It's a name brand.
Yeah, but my dad is a
Classic
big
name brand.
designer person, right? So
Yeah.
he didn't know. But we're talking,
Yeah.
this is like back in the 90s, Joey. Like Gucci was, especially in Puerto Rico, it was very hard
Still
to
is. Gucci is
find.
huge.
And yeah, and I actually he gave it to my nephew as my oldest nephew when he graduated high school, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a vintage freaking Gucci watch. Like, I want to take it from him and go get it freaking like appraised somewhere. I know
Yeah.
it's gotta be worth so much money right now. It's a beautiful watch, but it was so funny because my dad didn't wear it until now. I'm old. I remember him seeing one of the the ads that would come in the newspaper. That's how we used to see sales back in the
Yeah.
day. And he saw like this Gucci watch in a jewelry store ad, and it was like $2,000. And he was like, "What?"
Your dad got FOMO. He got FOMO.
And that's when my mom was like, "Yeah, you jerk."
Yeah, no. There's some watches, and I know Rolex. The reason why people love Rolex so much is for two reasons. One, they are a status, but they are like the classiest, most elegant looking watches. Now, obviously, across the board, that is like the epitome of class, right? But there are more expensive watches, right? That like only 1% of the country that are rich like that know of those brands, right? Of course.
Right.
But also with Rolex, they're much like Ferraris, where they hold their value. So they get passed down from generation to generation, and they actually build value. Like, I know the one that I have, I got it in 2016, it's almost $2,000 more
Mhm.
than it was when I got it.
Yeah,
And I got mine used because they hold value.
I got one as a Christmas bonus from my job when I was a VP of operations, and
Yeah.
that's what the CEO gave like the people at VP and C levels. Like that was our gift or Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
And I just never forget looking at it and thinking like, you know, I remember somebody said like, oh, they could have just given us a big fat check for what this watch is worth. And I'm like, okay, valid point, but you
Yeah.
realize that this would like never lose its value. You can
Yeah.
pass it down. You can
It's an asset.
freaking sell it if you're ever in a situation where you need to. Like, I'm like, this is so much better than him writing us each a 10, 15 grand check and be like, here you go. You know, like I actually thought it was thoughtful, but one of my coworkers were like, he couldn't just give us a check. And I'm like, you jerk.
You'll appreciate it later on. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
correct.
Like I know like for mine, I got mine when I graduated college. So it was a gift to I was the first person,
Aw.
not to get a little mushy here, but I was the first person in my family to graduate college.
Mhm.
So my parents bought me a Rolex as like, you're starting this new like generation of college graduates. Now you can start to pass that down to your
I
kids
love
and do that.
that.
So so like I understand it, but maybe when that time comes, I'm like, I ain't giving you that shit.
No, fuck. You sound like me. Like I'm like I told my best friend like something happens to me, you make sure they cremate me wearing this specific pair of red bottoms
Yeah.
because they're a limited edition. I'm not passing them down. They're coming with me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's like, got it.
Yeah. I feel like Logan Roy from Succession. You're not getting nothing. It's
I
going to the
know.
grave with me.
I'm giving it to my dog. So whoever gets custody of my dog will probably.
Oh man. Lisa, we have a few more topics to talk about. You having
Yeah.
fun today? I'm having
I always have fun
I was
talking
a
to you,
blast.
Joey.
Yeah. It's time. We need like a separate intro for like the Kardashian corner.
Oh, we need a video. We need to talk to
Yep.
to the design team to make us a Kardashian corner video. Oh,
Yes.
this one is good though. I popped for this so hard.
Guys and girls listening. You know, Kim Kardashian, we've been putting her over. Let's use wrestling terms. We've been putting her over for the past few months. But now she might have made a slight heel turn, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. She poked fun at her sister, Kendall, for all of her NBA exes. Now, you can say
Kendall starting 5.
You can say she has a type. You know, listen, Kim has a type too. They all have types.
Well, I don't know what she's doing with Bad Bunny because Bad Bunny doesn't look like anything of those guys in that T-shirt. But
But Kim has a shirt that says, "What is it? Kendall starting 5" or something like that.
yeah, Kendall starting 5.
Yeah. How do you feel about this?
I think it's funny. I think it's funny. I think it's a flex, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be negative. I think it's a way to sell merch. I know the Lord Disick, Scott Disick, when he started his
Right.
brand, his clothing brand Talentless, he made a shirt that I'll never forget. It was Kim is my lawyer.
Yeah.
And it sold out. Like it sold out. And I feel like this is just one of those marketing tactics. It has to be. I don't know what brand that shirt is. I don't know if that's like merch they're coming out with or something, but it's definitely something that, like, listen, they're walking billboards. They are not just going to wear anything for nothing. So that is from something. And yeah, it's all marketing.
It's a
all
funny
good fun.
shirt. It has all 5 of Kendall's ex-boyfriends who were NBA players. And if you just glimpse at it, it looks like an NBA shirt until you see Kendall in the middle and the guys around her. Like it was stuff I popped. I thought this was hilarious. That's why I had to send it to you because I was like, good to have a sense of humor about it.
I think it'd be really funny if it was like an actual jersey that was like that she's running around. I'm sure we'll see Kendall in it at one point as a joke.
You think?
Well, yeah, because you know how the media gets. Like, look at the way that like, it was presented in the article. It was like, oh, she's going after her sister. Like,
Yeah.
she's not necessarily going after her. I think that you'll see when the media takes it out of hand because they do that with everything. She'll have
Yeah,
to come
she's
out
just
and say
having
like, it's
fun,
just,
bro.
yeah,
Chill.
yeah. Listen, they all support. Listen, uh, Kim Kardashian was front and center with Northwest at a game holding a Tristan Thompson sign,
Yeah.
regardless of what happened with Tristan Thompson and Chloe. So, it's all in good fun. It's all in support. So I don't think
Family. My family group chat is the most toxic area in all of the world. But we love each other and we support
yeah.
each other. You don't want to read the conversations that go on in this group chat. We talk mad crap about each other all the time, but oh my god, we love like Dominic Toretto ain't got nothing on us, right? But
Oh,
are
yeah.
we toxic? Will we do something like that? And when we go off the air, remind me to tell you a joke about the shirt that my family made to me because
Oh
you
man,
laugh.
I'm excited for it. I see. I now I have another favorite comment in the chat.
Oh no,
Rick
what?
Ricky commented this is funny podcast all week. This one and TWL best podcast whole week. You the best, Issa and Joey. Thank you,
Oh,
Ricky.
Ricky, thank you.
Means
We
a
love
lot.
doing this show. We love
Yeah,
doing this show.
yeah. We always say it, but it's all in good fun. But now I'm starting to really believe it. We are the best duo that there is doing this.
1000%.
Yeah,
And if you haven't seen us, we've been talking wrestling over in my channel too Thursday, so
yeah.
you might want to check that out too.
Let me tell you,
Ship
I
plug,
had
ship plug.
so much fun last week with you.
Yeah.
Maybe I talk a little bit too much, but
No, you don't
the
talk too
passion.
much.
It's the passion that comes out.
You don't talk too much. I love that we went in. We didn't plan anything. We kind of just did it. Here we go by bullet points and we allow the conversation to go. And that's what I
Yeah,
love about our dynamic. That it's like we don't need a whole like, oh, we're just gonna read the whole article. We just like
yeah.
go by the topic, do this, and then we just like go off because like I love where our conversations always end up going. But no, I love doing that and we're gonna keep doing it, guys. So stay tuned over there as well.
Hell yeah! Subscribe to Issa's channel and stay up to date with it. All that good stuff. Yeah, not
And
really.
you did a live stream, by the way. You did a live stream, which I thought you did great. I was proud of you
Thank
seeing you
you.
come back on your live stream game. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. I felt like it was, I watched it back after, not the whole thing because it was too long. And I was like, I feel like I was in a therapy session with the bloodline. Like I literally felt like the therapist. And I was giving everyone's point of view. And like, it was fun. I like
It
getting
was
deep
fun.
into conversation like that with
You
myself.
kept me
Apparently.
company. I was getting a pedicure and then I went to like these two boutiques trying to find a dress. The whole time you were with me.
I love it. That's so funny. But the big topic for today,
Ah,
and I have to shout out. I already messaged him before, but shout out Rob for the thumbnail today. It was PETA versus Pete. I love that. I love that thumbnail.
so clever.
Pete Davidson in the headlines again because he bought a dog instead of adopting a dog. Now, the big issue with this for me is I really don't care what you do. I don't care if you adopt a dog, rescue a dog, buy a dog, whatever the word is.
Mhm.
There is not enough conversation around this topic for people to know what is right and what is wrong or what they should do or all of that information.
There's so much to cover when it comes to that topic
Yeah.
in itself. And it's very some people do like a certain breed of dogs and a certain breed of dog is very hard to get adopting, right?
Yeah.
In addition to that, I purchased Roman. I bought Roman and I am somebody that donates to animal charities on a monthly basis. I'm a
Yeah.
big animal, like adopt animals and support the babies. Like everybody knows I'm crazy about animals.
Yeah.
I was not planning on purchasing Roman. I literally bought Roman at the exact same store where Pete Davidson bought this dog.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That store is set up as all the celebrities in New York buy their dogs from this place. Their sale tactic is incredible. I don't think they got me. I fell in love with Roman that day. I
Yeah.
feel like if I would have not seen Roman, I could have walked out of there without a dog. It was a Roman moment for me.
Yeah.
But they know exactly what to do. They have pictures of the celebrities, and not just the celebrities, the normal people. They take your picture with the dog and they have a wall. But like they're just, oh, you want to hold it? They put you on the floor. They let you bond with these dogs. And I was just going on a nice walk in Chelsea, and they had the doggies in the window. I'm gonna go in. I walked out with a dog. That was never the plan. First of all, the price that Roman cost was never anything I would have ever thought I would pay for a dog. Let's start
Yeah.
by that, right? But because of the reputation that this particular store has, Roman came with a lot of paperwork, including like government issues, like government issued inspections on the breeding site that Roman came from
Yeah.
for the last 4 years. So the paperwork that they brought me Roman with was a well inspected breeder that had all their shit together,
Yeah.
right? And the reason why people don't like people buying dogs is because ultimately some people just throw them in a freaking cage, have them have puppies, sell the puppies, and that's it. They don't care for the dogs.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case to where Roman came from. And I do understand that that's not always the case. This is a
Yeah.
high end store that I should never bought a dog from because I might still be paying for him. I don't know. Anyways, the whole point is that at the same time, and hear me out, if these dogs are born in this kind of environment, let's say I didn't get Roman for that and it was a different kind of breeder that does all of those things, doesn't that also counts as saving this dog from an environment that was like really, really bad as well? If you go and you
Yeah.
buy a dog from a breeder that's just like breeding dogs, you took that dog from that, because
Yeah.
a lot of times when they don't end up selling them, they end up breeding the puppies that they end up keeping there, and they go into the same kind of cycle.
Yeah.
I am also a big believer in a dog can choose you. I am a million percent convinced that Roman picked me that day because it
Yeah.
was never my plan to buy a dog.
Yeah.
Would I adopted a dog? Yeah, I would have. But that, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like with pets, it can be almost like love. You're not counting on it happening. It kind of just happens. And that's what
Yeah.
happened to me. But because I'm such a big animal advocate, Joey, I have gotten so much shit from people because I bought my dog.
Yeah. Now, I have experience with both of
Hmm.
the options that we have here. My cat, I rescued. He was at a center. He was really, first off, he was sick, and they told me like, don't pick that one. He's done. He's gonna die. That's what they told me. Like they were upfront. He wasn't eating. He was a few weeks old, and he was just sick.
Hmm.
And the idea of wanting a cat is because I was working 60 hours a week, and I was in 5 college classes. Like I was running myself into the ground, right?
Yeah.
So getting a dog was kind of out of the equation because it's not
They're
fair to
too
have.
high
Yeah.
maintenance compared to a cat. Yeah.
So I was like, let me get a cat because I had just moved into my own place, and I'm like, this is kind of lonely. Like, I've never been on my own before like this. Let me get a cat. So I was like, I want a black cat. Why do I want a black cat? Black cats are, and this is a fact, by the way, black cats are more prone to being euthanized because there is
Yeah.
so much superstition around them. They're bad luck. They bring all this stuff, all this nonsense that people believe. So I was like, all right, in my mind, I'm doing a better thing by adopting a black cat.
I love that. I never thought about
So
that.
plus, apparently, they're really, really sweet. Didn't know
Hmm.
that. I don't know. I learned that the black cats are usually sweeter, and like the orange cats, the tabby cats, I think they're called,
Hmm.
are more like aggressive and mean.
I had a tabby cat and he was a little jerk.
So yeah, so I found my cat. He was really, really sick. I picked him up, and like you said, he picked me. And I have a picture on my Instagram. I can send you later, or if you follow me on Instagram, you can go check it out. They gave him to me to hold. He was literally like the size of my iPhone. I picked him
Yeah.
up, and he looked at me dead in the eyes and grabbed my face like this with his
I
paws.
love
And I was
that.
like, that's it, mine.
Did you see the video I posted of my first interaction with
Yep.
Roman today?
I
I
saw it.
picked him up like this
Yep.
and he just licked my face and I was like, it's over.
Yep.
I knew it was over. I was like, okay. I literally go into asking, do you want to go home with me?
I got
They get you, man. They get you.
I adopted Jagger in 2016, and he survived. He
Of
is
course
very
he did.
healthy,
He just needed some
and
love and somebody that cared about him.
let me tell you, he grew up around our dogs, our golden retrievers. This cat is trained like a dog. He sits on command. I'm telling you, the only thing he doesn't do like a dog is go on a leash outside.
That's impressive
And I
because
tried that.
cats are kind of like known to be their own little person, more jerks.
Independent.
I am 1000% convinced I was a cat in a past life just because of how I
I love your ears, by the way. Nice.
am. But okay, so you rescue him
Yes.
and all is
So
going well.
yes. So the year before, our dog of 16 years passed away. Not to get morbid.
Mhm.
And we desperately we'd never been. I got that dog when I was 5 years old, and he died when I was in my 20s. So like it was like devastating. Like when
He
you
was part
have
of the
that,
family. Hmm.
yeah, when you have a pet that long and then you don't have one anymore, it's like the house is quiet. Like it's very very like off. We needed a new one. We didn't know what kind of dog we wanted. We were kind of looking for. We wanted a a German Shepherd, maybe a dog
Hmm.
that could be like a family dog, you know. Um, and again, German Shepherds are not necessarily dogs you would find at a rescue shelter unless they're
Correct.
older and abused. And in that case, they are harder to train, and sometimes they are too aggressive
They're
to have
very
on young
they're
kids.
hard to turn into a
Yeah,
family dog. Correct. A lot of times
yeah,
they'll make a great guard dog, but they're not like
yeah,
to be inside and certain things. Yeah, German shepherds can be the smartest. I
yeah,
don't know. I think all dogs are born with a loving, nurturing way, regardless of the
yeah,
race. And I think a lot of what happens is on how they're raised. Even
yeah.
I love pit bulls. I think pit bulls are the biggest babies, but it comes down to how you raise them and treat them.
Yeah. So we could not find, we went to like a million different rescue places in Florida and
Hmm.
we could not find what we were looking for. And we're like, all right, we have to maybe find, you know, maybe we have to buy one from a store, you know,
Hmm.
because there's certain breeds that you just cannot find at shelters or
Right.
rescue shelters. So in our town in South Florida, there was a little pet shop and we just went in and there was a golden retriever dog walking around the store, the owner's dog. It was a mom and pop place, and they had dogs there. We didn't know they had dogs there. So we're looking at dogs, and we're like, we're looking for a family dog. And the owner goes, well, my golden just had puppies. Like, like just
And you
had puppies.
automatically just pulled out your wallet. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So we're like, we looked at it, me, my dad, and my mom, because me and my dad and my sister were there. My mom, she couldn't bear to look at other dogs. She was still trying to grieve. It was like this was like a month after.
Yeah.
So we looked at each other and we're like, we didn't even think about Goldens. Like we didn't even like they were like the best dogs.
Yeah.
So they bring out we're like, do you have any boys? Because we wanted a boy. They bring us out one. We're playing with it for like 5 minutes. Then they tell us, oh crap, this is a girl. Marketing tactic. I know it is.
Yep.
So they were like grabbing her to take her back. And we're like, no, 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 keep her here. They went back. They brought a boy out from the same litter.
Yeah.
We left with two puppies that day,
No.
brother and sister. Brother and sister,
I love that so much.
brother and sister, Kingsley and Jersey. And yeah, the rest is history.
I think
The
that
best decision, by the way, that we ever made.
I mean, I see how your parents treat their dogs, and I want to move in with them, honestly.
Yeah.
So, I think that first of all, I 1000% believe that a pet can choose you. I think
Yeah.
Roman picked me that day. The guy tells us like, oh, we just got him in. Yeah, Roman was like 8 weeks and 3 days when I got him. Legally, you are not allowed to sell them if you're
Yeah.
selling them until they're 8 weeks. So I got
Mhm.
Roman as soon as you were able to have him.
Yep.
And they told us he came in with two girls, and I went. I'm a stalker. I went back on City Pop's Instagram, and there was like 2 days before. There's a picture of two separate couples, but the girls, and they left him alone. And yeah, I Roman picked me that day. Like, he just licked me, and it was over for me. And my original intention was to adopt, and I was looking at shelters, and I wasn't even looking for a Yorkie. I am asthmatic, so I do have to have a breed that
Yeah.
that don't shed. Otherwise I'm gonna have to rehome it or do something because I know I
Yeah.
can't handle it. So that's another thing that makes it very complicated because it's hard to find hypoallergenic dogs in
Yeah.
shelters, but it's the only kind of dog that I can have. And the whole point to that is I don't care how you get your dog. I've never been against you bought it, you adopted it, that's great. I don't think the fact that I bought Roman takes away from how much I support
Nope.
animals and animals. Like
Not at all.
recently, I literally just started donating to my favorite shelter, which is Puerto Rico has a big problem with stray dogs. Like we have a
Yeah.
lot of them. So there's a company that dedicates themselves to rescuing stray dogs in Puerto Rico. And I did the thing where instead of giving Twitter $8 a month, I donate them to this company. I
Love
donate to
that.
ASPA. I donate to Humane Society. And I just don't feel like the fact that I bought Roman makes me a hypocrite
Yeah.
or it takes away from how I feel about dogs. And I think when people adopt is and rescue animals, it's like the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
But the case here is Pete Davidson probably went in there with the intention of buying a dog. I'm not gonna judge him on that.
Yeah.
PETA went on and started talking all of this crap about Pete Davidson. This store went through a lot of drama years ago, back in 2012, and that's why they are now required to give you all of this paperwork with your dog that they're coming from good breeders, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. I will say they're not perfect because they sell you the dog and you have like a free vet check with their vet, right? I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna pass on that. I'm gonna take him to whatever vet I choose. And my vet did tell me in the state of New York, it is illegal to sell a dog if it's a spayed. So they got Roman fixed before he was 8 weeks old. And my vet
Wow.
was like, she's like, first of all, Roman wasn't even a pound. So she's like, I don't even know how they will measure his anesthesia in a level that
Yeah.
won't kill him because he was so little. Even when Roman had to have dental surgery and his vet was afraid of the anesthesia because he's so little, you have to be very careful with how much you give him. So I'm not saying this place is perfect by any means in the way they do business. They do shady business. They need to get the dogs out at 8 weeks so you can sell them right away, right? That's just a part of it. And Roman should have never had that surgery at that age.
Yeah.
He's okay. And
That happened with
anyway,
my cat,
so
by the way.
oh really?
Yeah, my cat. I don't know if you know this about cats. I don't know if it's the same thing for dogs. So Jagger, my cat, has like a pouch in his stomach that like a saggy skin,
Yeah,
and apparently that happens to cats who are fixed or spayed, whatever you want to call it, before it's premature.
yeah, yeah. They told me that Roman was might behave a certain kind of way because he never went through the whole understanding. You know, like he should have been at 6 months basically, but then they weren't gonna sit on him for 6 months.
Yeah,
Especially Roman is a teacup, which is smaller than your typical Yorkie. So you want to have him out there when he's really tiny and cute because that's when everybody wants him. The whole point to that is I guarantee you Pete Davidson went in there with a plan to buy a dog. As long as you treat your animals right,
yeah,
I'm okay with this. And sometimes I feel like PETA will criticize or do certain things when I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
There's absolutely nothing wrong. They went out and posted a whole ass statement about how Pete Davidson couldn't adopt a dog and he chose to go to city pubs and buy these dogs
yeah.
and all these rescue dogs that need rescued. And I was like, that's a little too much. Pete Davidson got right back at them. And I think it was like one of the executives, like the higher ups in PETA, he left them like a super profane voicemail.
I love it. And you know what? Kudos. And I respect Pete Davidson that much more. This is a guy, by the way, outside of this, Pete Davidson is always one to stand up for himself
Yeah.
whenever he needs to. I respect the hell out of that guy.
Yep.
You know, a
Even
big,
when Kanye was talking all this shit
yeah,
about it, he was still like freaking
he does
owning
what he
him.
wants. He's himself
Hmm.
and he's just like, he seems like a very stand up guy. And, you know, the big part of this article that I don't think people really take into consideration outside of seeing the headline, his mom's dog passed away.
Hmm.
That's the reason he went and got a dog, was to bring her a new dog. The idea, this guy is maybe grieving, his mom is grieving. You're gonna attack him for trying to feel better about a
And
situation.
may it help his mom feel better.
Yeah,
And we were just talking about how you were looking for a specific kind of dog.
yeah,
What if you're looking for? There are dogs that are very hard to find in rescues,
yeah. Like,
and
most
and
likely you
I,
won't find.
and you know what? If we're while we're in the topic of it, a lot of places make it very hard to adopt a
Yeah,
pet, which I don't
Yes,
think it
they
makes
do.
any sense. If you show up there with the paperwork, you have
Home
your ID,
visits and
and you have the fee and all that. I get it for a certain kind of breed. Like I remember that show. I love that show, Pit Bulls and Parolees. Like they will
yeah,
go and make sure that the house was fitting because you have a rescue pit bull that might have already had a messed up past. I get it. A German Shepherd, a Rottweiler. But if I'm just going into your shelter to buy a little mutt, you don't need to visit my home. You don't need to call 10 references. You don't need to like as
yeah,
long as I have the space. Like I also think like because you go into the stores and just swipe your credit card, the dog is yours. And I'm like, they should make adopting and rescuing dogs this easy.
yeah.
Because some
No,
places make it very hard for you to adopt. And I've rescued before, and I remember it was like a 5-day process. And I'm like, I thought I was just gonna walk into the shelter and walk out with the puppy. Like, isn't that the whole point of it?
yeah. And the other big thing here too is he's a celebrity. He can't just like be going to all these different places. And granted, there's different levels of celebrity where some can, but like Pete Davidson, like he's gonna get mobbed in any store that he's in.
But that store is very notoriously known for all celebrities in Manhattan, in New York
All right.
City area, to buy their dogs from there.
Yeah.
When I went, they were flexing about how I think it was Kendall. No, it was Kylie. Kylie had just bought a dog from there like 2 days before I
Yeah.
got Roman, and they were showing the picture to everybody and all this. And like you said, they had the strategy. I mean, they sat me on the floor, put a little thing
Yeah.
around me, and just
Took
handed me, and they were
pictures.
like, "Stay for as long as you want." And I'm like,
You want
"Oh
a water? You want anything that you
yeah,
want to say?
yeah, yeah. Like, oh, and then my favorite thing was like at that time I was with my ex fiance and his daughter. We were all there, right? So when we were walking in Chelsea, and then we're going to the pet store. They have puppies in the windows, right? The dog in the window song. That's literally Roman. So I remember I looked at him and I said, "We're not buying a dog." Keep in mind, I'm the one who fell in love and bought the dog. But
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not buying a dog, but I'm like, I work sales, right? So I know what I'm doing. I'm like, at no point, no matter what happens, we're gonna say we like this dog. The key word is thirsty. If we like a dog, we're gonna say I'm really thirsty. So we're sitting on the floor with the dog, and Madison, his daughter, she goes, "I'm really, really thirsty." And I was like, I love that you follow instructions because we would not.
That's hysterical.
I'm telling them, do not give any sign of weaknesses, and I'm like, oh, I love you, and they follow directions. I didn't. The guy started walking around, and he goes, he tells my ex fiance she really likes him, and I'm like, man, they know what they're doing here. But I mean, I get that PETA is like a pet company, and they're here for the rights of animals, but
They needed to be relevant. That's why they got
mind
involved.
your own business. Like I thought you were here for like animals that are going through like lab testing or like animals dying for fur. Like whether I buy my dog or rescue it, which I think both ways you're getting a dog and you might be getting a dog out of a terrible situation. What happens when these dogs don't sell? Ask yourself that question. What happens when a dog doesn't sell? Where do they go? Do they end up in I don't know. So ultimately, you are saving a dog from a weird situation, from a freaking pet store where they just like sit them there, put food and water in their little cage and leave them there until they get sold. They're not getting loved. They're
Yeah.
not getting attention. So I don't. I will never judge anybody for however. I would judge you on how you treat your animal. 1,000%.
One
I
1,000%.
I literally judge people based on how they are with animals. And if you tell me you don't like dogs, we're done.
The idea of PETA is has a good intention, but what
Right.
they do, they really just they're hypocritical in a sense because they're always you never see them in like for a good reason in the headline or in the media. It's
Right.
always a bad reason. And it's like they're like for this, they saw this as an opportunity to be in a headline, so they went after it.
It's
You know
really
what I
funny
mean?
because even when I talk about, and I like all of these pet commercials get me. But now that I think about it, I think I donated to PETA like a handful of times where everybody else I like got like monthly recruiting donations. Where with PETA, it's just like I don't remember like really donating a lot to them. And
Yeah.
what all my charity always goes to animal charities. But
Uh,
they're just like I remember when they were throwing blood at people that were fur. That was a thing, remember? New York
yep.
Fashion Week.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're just I don't know what their intentions are. At the end of the day, they are a corporation, and
Yeah.
I just really wonder. I like this little tiny non-profit animal charities that not everybody might hear about, I feel like they have better intentions than a PETA. That's just my personal opinion.
I'll leave it with this. You know, I don't care how you get your dog or
Hmm.
your cat or your pet, right? If you adopt, if you shop, if you hopefully don't steal, but
Please.
adopt, rescue, shop, whatever the term is you want to use. Uh, you at the end of the day, like you said, you are saving a life and giving it, you're putting it in a better position and you're giving it a home and you're giving it love, hopefully. And that's really the way to judge people is how they treat their animals. Now, the big thing here is, and I learned this the hard way, uh, do a background check before you adopt.
Hmm.
Do a background check, not only on the place you're adopting from, but also the bloodline,
Oh yeah.
the bloodline of the animal. Because unfortunately, one of my Goldens passed 2 years ago from a brain tumor, and that was like traumatic. And
Yeah.
it was a hereditary thing that
That
we didn't
was
know about.
the drama that City Pups, the place where Pete Davidson and I got
Yeah,
our dogs, is that they somebody bought a dog and within like a week the dog passed away and he had a
yeah,
condition, and obviously City Pups were trying to get out of this like situation because they didn't want a refund and they didn't want to give this person another dog, nor did the person want to get another dog from them. But the whole point was it ultimately was like the breeder's fault, and
yeah,
that's what went into the whole, now you guys got to get breeders that are legally inspected, that
yeah,
so if something happens to the dog, and you also have like I think we had like a month thing where I still have it, obviously I have his papers. Like Roman had like a long time where I could go back if I had any health issues with him.
yeah,
um but yeah, they give you like a free vet check now with the dogs
yeah,
and all that. But it happened. They did find out the issue was the breeders. So
yeah,
now you can go in there and ask all the questions about like where is this dog coming from, what is the name of the and they
yes.
had to. They used to not give you that information. Now
Hmm.
they give you that info where you can Google search as you're sitting there, and that way you can find out is this company good, is it bad, what is it, blah blah blah. With Roman, he's AKC, so you can literally look up his bloodline because they're all AKC registered. So
Yeah.
I know like Roman's dad was a show dog. He won
Wow.
prizes and everything. He didn't get any of that from him. He's a brat. But but like you can go into AKC and look up like their entire little like bloodline
Yeah.
and how old they grew up to be, and all of that. So it's like really cool now the information. But City Pops went through drama because of what you're talking about, because of
Yeah.
this dog had an issue and it was a breeder, and the breeder should have never sold these dogs to the shop to begin with. So they
Yeah.
started
And
working with like different breeders at that point.
these are the things that PETA should be talking about. These are the things that
Hmm.
should be put in the headlines when it involves PETA and these animal companies, because this is
Correct.
information that people don't know. Most people don't know. And I wish back then when I adopted my dogs that I knew certain things, what to look for. Also pet insurance. Pet insurance is
Yeah.
really important, not only for your animal to have the proper care that it needs, but also for your pocket. Because I know when my dog was diagnosed with a brain tumor, we were it was thousands to even just do tests and all that stuff. And with pet insurance, it really does help you, because there's some
Roman
people who,
had
who have pets who go through things and they can't help them because they can't afford it.
Yeah, Roman has been a very healthy boy, knock on wood, but he had an emergency surgery when he was still 5, 6 months old because he didn't shed his teeth. You know how dogs shed
Yep.
teeth? So he had like 2 layers of teeth, and you could hear him grind his teeth at night, and he would cry. He couldn't close fully shut his mouth.
Wow.
It's actually called like shark mouth, and it's very known in like little breeds, especially Yorkies. But
Yeah.
I will never forget that I had to. Well, Roman had like, I think her name is the venturing vet, and she comes to you. She has a truck where it's like the act. So Roman had his surgery as I'm looking from the in the parking lot as I'm like
Oh
staring
man.
at it. But that ended up costing me $1,300, and he needed to have it right then and there.
Yep.
And it's just like that is no joke. Like who the hell is just I mean, obviously I'm gonna make sure that my dog is okay. But
Yeah.
ever since that happened, I've been a big advocate of pet insurance because once I started calling around to get insurance for him, they told me they were like, oh, you only would have paid 250 that day if you would have just looked at the insurance company ahead of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am a big advocate of pet insurance as well.
I think that everybody watching today, I hope everybody watching today got something out of this episode, because
Yeah, we have fun.
we were just dropping some knowledge and different
Yeah.
things from experience that,
Listen, last week we were talking about real parents issues and we might not know shit about that, but
yeah,
bring us an animal topic and we'll educate you real quick.
yeah. I think that it's important for people to hear these things, but learn about them, and not just learn like facts about online, but like really deep dive into these things, because these are the things that we're not told. We're not, a lot of people always say like when you're in school, you're not told, you're not taught how to do your taxes or different
Right.
things like that. It's the same concept with this. Like people don't tell you how to go about adopting a pet and handling a pet.
Yeah,
It's
and what kind of pet? A lot of times
yeah,
you think that a specific kind of breed is right for you because you find them cute because of this, because of that, and
yeah,
then you come to find out that that is not the breed that you wanted at all. Like if you're going to adopt, if you're going to get a pet, rescue, buy, whatever, just do the research and make sure that it is the right animal
yep,
for you. You know, like I had to start with because when I was little, we had to get rid of my dogs because of my
yeah,
asthma. So I automatically knew that they can shed. Once you look into the non-shedding, then go into like what size do they grow in. I live alone, so I've always been an apartment person. Even when I didn't
yeah,
live alone, we were living in the city. So what is a good apartment breed? Like do your research to make sure you're not getting a German Shepherd in a freaking studio in Manhattan. It's
yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
work, and your dog is gonna be miserable. Like I always tell people, there's so much more that goes into it than just like I'm gonna adopt or rescue this dog just to do a good deed. And because the one thing that you never want to do is have to rehome a pet,
yep,
but do it if it's the right thing to do too. I had a Yorkie before Roman, years before Roman. I went dogless for the longest time because I was heartbroken that I had to rehome my other Yorkie. Her name was Tiffany,
yeah,
but I was living in the Midwest, okay, and I had a roommate and we had doggy doors and she had a fencing yard. This dog ran out the yard like she lived her best country life. And when I left the Midwest to go to New York, I was like, she had my roommate had a it was a mix. It was a German Shepherd and a Rottweiler mix, and this was
oh
Tiffany's
wow,
best friend. We had a cat. She loved the cat, so I was like, if I take Tiffany from this environment, she was already over 10 years old. I was like, to
yeah,
New York, I'm gonna depress her. Like I'm like,
yeah,
it's not the right thing to do. She grew up in the country. She's used to running around, and I'm
yep,
gonna take her from that to what? When I first moved to New York, I had a studio and
yeah,
I was working 13 hours a day. There was no
yeah,
walking her, there was no taking her. So I left her with my roommate. And it was one of the most heartbreaking decisions that I made. But I made the decision for my dog, not for me. If I was selfish, I would have brought her with me, but it
of
would have
course,
been the complete wrong thing to do. So also think about the breed and if it ever comes down to a decision, put your animal first and think about what's best for your animal.
yeah. PETA, I hope you're listening, because this is what should be in your headlines, not Pete Davidson.
Educating people about pet adoptions and all that, that should be something that a lot of more people should be doing.
Yeah. Well, Issa, we've been here for an hour and a half,
We always
almost an
just
hour and a half.
talk for too long. That's our
Yeah.
problem.
Anything else you want to leave the people with today?
No, I watched The Ultimatum Queer Love on Netflix. You know, I'm the queen of trashy reality
Yeah,
TV. My God, it is so good. So anybody watching us, if you need your fix of a crappy love reality show, go watch it.
I have not watched anything this week. The
I
last
told you I
week,
wasn't gonna watch wrestling this weekend, and oh, I watched the Jennifer Lopez movie Mother on Netflix with my
I heard
mom.
it was good. I haven't
It was
watched
it
it.
was actually good. I actually enjoyed it. But yeah, I was like I found myself sitting here Sunday night and I was gonna open Peacock and rewatch one of the WWE pay-per-views and I was like, no, I said no wrestling this weekend. So I opened up Netflix and fell down a reality show rabbit hole. But that's it. That's all
Yeah,
I got for you.
Issa, what a good episode today was. It was not only fun, but it was knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Like we dropped some knowledge
It's
bombs.
what we do, Joey. It's what
Yeah.
we do.
It's because we're so great.
I mean, duh.
Everybody who's in the chat and watching and listening, if you haven't already, please subscribe down below to the Know Your News channel. And I believe, Lisa, do you know the website for the super chats? Because I always forget. Know Your News.
I think it's knowyournewschat.com. Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys can leave chats ahead of time. Just make sure you put in your message in your chat. This is for Isa and Joey and nobody else.
Yeah, and we love engaging with the chat, and there's always some. All the names here, I pretty much have memorized at this point, and
yeah, you guys are the best.
Yeah, and it's always a fun time. Isa, my favorite person to talk to is hands down.
Same, Joey. Yeah. We're besties now. We be texting each other and sending random pictures to each other.
Yeah, we're on another level now. This is what it is, and it's all Jimmy's fault.
It is Jimmy's fault.
Everybody, thank you for watching, and you could see us again this week. I think on Isa's channel.
Thursday on my channel.
Yeah, and then you can see me on Friday on mine, and then right back here next Tuesday for TLR. I believe it'll be episode 34.
My God. We need to plan our retro one. I really want to do the retro show.
We will do that, and let's keep them coming. All the good stuff. Have a great week, guys, and we'll see you next week.